12 o'clock. Welcome back in. It's three-man front here on this Wednesday. Landrum, Pat, and Conrad. We do have SEC basketball coming up tonight. A little bit of a lighter slate. Texas is at Kentucky, 6 o'clock there at Rupp Arena. And Kentucky around a 6.5-point favorite. Mississippi State, meanwhile, travels to take on Bucky in College Station and the Texas A&M Aggies. You get that one tonight at 8 o'clock there from Reed Arena, College Station, Texas. The Aggies minus 8.5, according to Las Vegas, around that mark. Texas A&M, they've gotten off to a pretty good start.
Yeah, pretty good with the Bucky ball. Big story this morning, right before we went on the air. Charles Bediako, remember him? 3 years ago, played for the Alabama Crimson Tide. He went off to the NBA G League.
I saw him just downtown playing.
Did you really? Yeah. Played in Birmingham, scored 4 points, played 5 minutes against the Squadron last weekend. Well, he has been granted a temporary restraining order that he will be able to suit up for Alabama come this Saturday. The University of Alabama has released a statement saying the University of Alabama supports Charles in his ongoing efforts to be reinstated for competition while he works to complete his degree. He is enrolled in school. So that was Alabama's response to the temporary restraining order. Meanwhile, yes, the NCAA, they have released a statement, and it reads the following. These attempts to sidestep NCAA rules and recruit individuals who have finished their time in college or signed NBA contracts are taking away opportunities from high school students. A judge ordered the NCAA let a former NBA player take the court Saturday against an actual college student athletes is exactly why Congress must step up and empower college sports to enforce eligibility rules. That's the NCAA statement on Charles Bediako getting the temporary restraining order.
I was just trying to see what Judge Roberts to see what his background was.
Is that who gave the restraining order?
I saw that. Yeah, James H. Roberts. I don't know if we're related. Maybe we are. I just call him and get the lowdown. I have no idea what his background is. It's just always fun. Not that weighs into their decisions, but to see. Like, I thought it was great, the picture that we saw there on social media or the internet of the judge who's handling Trinidad Chambliss's case. He was wearing a nice Ole Miss polo.
Mm-hmm.
Just good to know.
He's just getting familiar with the case. Ingraining himself in Ole Miss lore.
Yeah.
And so CBS Sports reported about 15 minutes ago that they believe that is trending in the direction of Trinidad Chambliss getting a restraining order, and he will be ruled eligible to come back for another year at Ole Miss.
Okay. This is interesting. James H. Roberts Jr., he was appointed by Governor Bentley February of 2011, back then. But his education, it said he received his undergrad at University of South Florida. And then he got his law.
You mean Auburn South?
Auburn, yes, Auburn South.
That's
Tampa
Auburn
North.
South.
Tampa North. But yes, Auburn South.
Okay.
But he also got his law degree, Cumberland, Sanford.
Okay. Bulldog.
Mm-hmm.
So he's a bull and a bulldog.
He's a bull and a bulldog.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of tech coming in, though, and a lot of Alabama fans, and not surprising, not all saying, yay, bring back Charles Bediako. There's some mixed opinions from college sports fans.
Well, I just want to point out, he was given the temporary restraining order, and Alabama has released a statement saying that they are in support of Charles and his ongoing efforts to become eligible. So just because he got the restraining order this morning, that would allow him technically to step on the court and play for Alabama. I have been told people around the program's been communicating with me over the last hour, and they just said it's worth monitoring because they don't believe that Alabama has made a decision one way or another on whether to let him play on Saturday. Alabama could wait because there's another hearing on Tuesday, so they might wait for that official word. I know it was a completely different situation, but on the Brandon Miller situation, did they not wait? There was a hearing or something involved with that case before Alabama let him play, or am I thinking of another situation?
I'm trying to remember how they handled it with Brandon Miller, because obviously we know with Darius Miles he was off the team. I'm I'm trying to remember. I'll look that up. I can't remember if he missed time.
You know
or
what? I
not.
take that back. I think they actually
I
let
feel like
Miller
maybe he
play.
did miss time, and that's what the controversy.
That's what
was.
yeah. I think you're right. I think that's what it was.
And I don't know. It feels like since Charles Bediako has been in this system that it would be easier for a guy like Charles to jump in and give some meaningful minutes. It would be easier, obviously, doing this if you were playing, you're jumping onto a college baseball squad. That would be, football seems like it would be the most difficult.
And listen, this might be a situation where Alabama's
I
trying
guess
to.
it's position specific, depends on how difficult. But
Bama might be trying, and I'm talking about Greg Byrne, they might be trying to get clarity. Let's say you suit him up to play.
sure.
And Alabama beats Tennessee. And then it comes back and they lose Tuesday's court ruling. I'm talking about Bediako, not Alabama, because Alabama's not doing it. That's Bediako. And then all of a sudden, somebody says, well, you used an ineligible player.
You basically, and Judge Roberts, this is not directed at you, but you basically used a hometown judge to get him to be able to play for a game when everybody else was thinking this is not right. And then now
So you
we want the win back.
Yeah, you win the game, but then Bediako is ruled on Tuesday to not be eligible. So then is it a situation where Alabama would have to forfeit an SEC conference game, which in the long run could come back to haunt you in seeding in the SEC tournament, which then in turn could hurt you in seeding in the NCAA tournament.
Or how about this? If it comes down, let's just say, what if it came down to the tournament selection committee? Not that it would with Alabama, but you got to factor in with Charles Bediako, without Charles Bediako.
Yeah.
I mean, we kind of laugh, but these are things that do actually come up with the NCAA tournament committee. They might not with the college football playoff committee, but they do. Those guys talk about it. Martin Newton has told us those conversations happen.
Absolutely. This is a portion of what Bediako's attorneys had submitted to the court. It says, had Mr. Bediako had more foresight to see the paradigm-shifting changes coming to compensation for NCAA athletes, he likely would still be on campus playing for the University of Alabama. It goes on to say, when the NCAA recently began to reinstate players with G League experience, and even players who had entered and been selected in the NBA draft, Mr. Bediako saw that this is a chance to right a wrong decision that he had regretted over the past 3 years. So that kind of gives you a little bit of the insight of what Bediako's side was thinking.
The hesitation here is if they allow him to do this, and then we get other guys that are getting advised not to go. And they say, you know what? I'm going to go. I think I'm ready to go. I'm going to go. And in worst case scenario, I can do what Bediako did.
I will say, so you brought up an interesting point, about, what happens if, let's say you're on the bubble in March, right? Does the NCAA look at this and go, well, this is a reason to keep you out because maybe you don't
even
have
for
Bediako?
seeding, or just seeding.
Perhaps.
Going from a 6 to a 3.
So I'm going to read, this is from the temporary restraining order. This is a bullet point in the restraining order. It reads verbatim, the defendant, National College Athletic Association Incorporated, is further restrained from threatening, imposing, attempting to impose, suggesting, or implying any penalties or sanctions on Mr. Bediako or the University of Alabama or its coaches or other student athletes as a result of Mr. Bediako's participation in Division I athletics competition.
Then it gets into the language.
So I don't know if that covers all of that, but it seems like that's perhaps a
Do you interpret
safeguard.
that as seeding when it comes to a tournament?
I interpret that as they couldn't disqualify Alabama because of this.
And can put them on probation because of this.
But how could you also prove if, let's say, again, they're on the bubble, if they left Alabama out, can you prove that they did that for this reason?
You would have to subpoena Martin Newton probably.
Yep.
And get testimony from committee members about those actual conversations,
Yes.
what they had to happen.
So we normally put up a Pat Ponders poll question of the day at our 3-Man Front Twitter handle at the number 3-Man Front. And this morning had to do with not basketball, but we did post an emergency Pat Ponders poll question. Should Alabama allow Charles Bediako to play on Saturday against Tennessee? Yes or no? Right now, no is leading at 53%. 53% of our audience is saying no. Alabama should not play him against Tennessee, where 48% of you say yes. Suit him up.
And I think a lot of people are this one Alabama fan texted into our show. He said, I'm a huge Alabama fan. I don't support this, but I also won't be protesting outside of Coleman Coliseum.
I think a lot of people probably feel that way.
Yeah. You were fine with Charles Bediako not coming back. Who knows? Maybe he's a difference maker. Maybe he never touches the floor. Hard to believe that he doesn't after
he's been
we've
owning
gone
his
through these
craft for
steps.
the last 2 years, Landrum.
We've already enrolled him. We've got his dorm outfitted. You think he has a dorm?
No. He has an apartment or a house. See, here'd be my thing though. Is all right. So let's say Tuesday they have the court hearing. He gets denied. He can't play. Does he then immediately withdraw from classes? That would be my like. Does he go to class for a week, and then he's all right? I'm out.
So think about this. So if Bediako is allowed to play, and he does play, that means that Bediako will play twice against Auburn, twice against Tennessee, at Florida, Arkansas, and Texas A&M. That's a pretty good time to have Charles Bediako back on that basketball team. Twice against Auburn, twice against Tennessee, at Florida, Arkansas, and Texas A&M.
Let him make a meaningful impact. Start taking over games, being an obvious difference maker. Get ready. That is when the powder keg goes boom.
Mm-hmm. Saturday will be interesting. I think you'll have a lot of people
and I think
watching that
a really good litmus test is going to be Rick Barnes. Let Bediako take over that game.
Have
the
you seen
difference
any
in that
coaches-
game and Rick Barnes' post-game press
I was about to say his
conference,
post-game press conference.
he
will be
will
great.
absolutely go, fire me today. I will retire, but I'm going to get this off my chest.
Yep.
So I'm trying to think, if you're Auburn, who else has eligibility left?
Denver Jones, Cheney Johnson.
Well,
I guess the
cheddar bacon lasagna.
that'd be a trade.
That'd be a trade, midseason trade.
I guess the good news for Auburn is your Jabari Smiths and Walker Kesslers of the world have actually done pretty well in the NBA. So you couldn't bring them back, but it's because they're doing just fine on their own.
I saw where Dylan Cardwell was getting the Kings fans excited.
I was about to say Cardwell's had some minutes, yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Denver Jones and Cheney Johnson have just been the two popular names.
I'm just thinking about, for people to say Charles Bediako, he averaged 6.5 points when he was at Alabama, 2 blocks a game, which is actually pretty good. But going, he's a 7-footer, but he wasn't great.
Just him being on the floor.
Seeing Dylan Cardwell in the lobby before their game versus Florida, the Final Four, we were out there covering it for Jocks. Just seeing him in street clothes in the lobby and imagining him giving effort and trying to defend you and running up and down the floor makes a big difference.
Yes, it does.
He will have an impact if he plays.
Yep.
Just being there.
You may not look at the box score and go, wow, but
He alters shots.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sitting here monitoring some feeds coming out of Michigan. I was seeing if Tom Izzo had released a statement or done an interview on camera, because he went nuts when Baylor went down this road. One of his players in the huddle telling him that you can't guard my mother.
Wait, who is this?
Tom Izzo.
Oh,
Tom Izzo's mom's 99 years old.
that's a great
I was
line.
about to say, she's
That's a great
alive.
line.
99 years young. He told the player, there's a clip of him yelling at his player in the huddle, said, "You can't guard my mother."
Great. That's wonderful.
That's an awesome line.
Thank you, Tom Izzo. What is wrong with saying that?
He says, "You can't guard my mother. My mother."
I'm just putting myself in the shoe, and I never played college sports, but like, if my high school coach said that would fire me up.
Our high school coaches said that all the time.
That would have been tame compared to the stuff that we got
So
told.
it gets
Yeah.
better. It gets, since we don't cover Big Ten basketball on a daily basis, and Molly's out sick today, or she might be able to tell us what's going on. But So he said that in the game. He yelled it like a camera got him, like yelling at a player during one of their timeouts.
You think he cared?
And so then after the game, the reporters asked him about his statement, and then he followed up by saying, they asked him, okay, why did you say that about him not being able to guard your mother? And he says, well, here's the sad part. She doesn't have game, and he still couldn't guard her.
Oh, he tripled down.
He doubled and tripled down. What? Tom Izzo's gold, man.
He is gold.
I love that man. He's fantastic. He said the sad part, she doesn't have game, and he still couldn't guard her.
I'm going to start trying to find a Tom Izzo quote of the week that we can have here on the show. Because we do need more to be reminded that there are still a few Tom Izzos out there coaching athletics.
Need more of them. So I'm sure Tom Izzo maybe they'll have practice this afternoon or something, and a Detroit TV station will have a clip of him because he definitely will have a thought or two about Bediako. Well, one thing that you need to have a thought of, and that is your roofing situation. And you need to get it checked because if you own a home and your roof is getting in age, I'm talking about 10, 12, 15 years, you need to get it checked out. Make sure everything's okay. If you've got some loose shingles or perhaps you got some storms coming that's maybe done some damage, some hail damage, or maybe some trees have fallen on your roof, you need to get it checked out. And that's where Travis Lloyd and Abide Roofing comes in at 205-577-7338. And we're about to have some storms, some bad weather the next couple of days. So you need to have the peace of mind of knowing that everything's cool up on top of your roof. That's where 25 years of trusted experience comes in with Abide Roofing. They're insurance claim masters. They'll help you navigate the process. If you've got damage and you want to turn it into your insurance company, they can help you with that. They'll also give you the warranties and the peace of mind of any type of work they do on top of your roof. It's taken care of to give you the peace of mind. Customers always come first with Abide Roofing. That's why I chose Travis Lloyd and Abide Roofing years ago to put a full roof replacement on my house because I had damage in my attic. I had leaking going on, and they took care of all that. Go to their website, abideroof.com, get more information, or simply give them a call, 205-577-7338.
Those of you waiting to chime in on the phone lines on Charles Bediako being temporarily reinstated to college athletics. We'll get to your phone calls. Also, a lot of texts on the text line as well. And we haven't forgotten about the college football transfer portal. Little news we'll pass along there. Three-man front continues on Chalks.
We've been talking a lot about all these NCAA issues, Charles Bediako, Mensa, Trinidad Chambliss. But last night there was a big announcement. The National Baseball Hall of Fame announced that Andruw Jones and Carlos Beltran. Here's a little fun fact for you. You might not know this, Conrad. Do you realize that both of these young men were born in 1977, one day apart?
Wow.
Did you also know that one of them is one of the greatest defensive players of all time and the other one's a big fat cheater?
Well, that big fat cheater helped us win the 2011 World Series.
I'm very happy that Andruw Jones got in last night. The fact that Carlos Beltran was a great player. He earned a right to be in the Hall of Fame. But if we're going to let somebody like that in the Hall of Fame with what he did in the Astros, but yet the steroid guys can't get in, that's a bunch of BS.
I got to hang out with Andruw Jones at Julio Jones dealership. We did a remote there.
Yep.
Great guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I met Andruw Jones a couple of times over at the SEC Football Championship, and first class. Just really cool dude.
Just his personality is exactly the way that his body language looked when he was playing on TV. He is just calm, cool, relaxed, just a very friendly human being.
10-time Gold Glove winner, 5-time All-Star, 434 career home runs for the Braves and other teams.
The Yankees.
The Rangers.
That's where he had his coming out party. The
These
Yankees
guys both
at Yankee Stadium, World Series.
But here's the other amazing part. He is now the 8th member of the 1997 Braves to make the National Baseball Hall of Fame.
We were all right.
Andruw Jones.
All the pitchers.
Chipper Jones, McGriff, Glavine, Maddox, Smoltz. You had Cox, the manager. He's in the Hall of Fame. Sherholtz, the GM. He's in the Hall of Fame. He's also the first player to be elected to the Hall of Fame from the island of Curacao.
Nice.
First time ever. And I think I told you this before. I remember the early 2000s, my wife and I, we went to the Virgin Islands, and we were actually going out to eat one night, and we had a driver, because you get a driver when you're going to be there for extended period of time. It's
you get their cell phone number. And you
say, hey, I can give you business
I'll
all
take
week
care
long.
of you.
Yep. Just if I call you, you're ready to go.
Ours, when we went to the Virgin Islands, his name was Carlton.
Okay. Don't remember the guy that drove us around. Anyway, the guy was a huge Braves fan. Huge. And I wasn't putting two and two together. We're riding around all week long, going to dinner, and he's got the Braves on. The Braves had a radio affiliate in the Virgin Islands. And I was just like going, man, it's really cool that you got, a Braves affiliate down here. He was like, well, yeah, he's from an island. And I was like, it all made sense then.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, there you go.
Yeah.
And so all those little islands down in the Caribbean during the early 2000s were Braves affiliates. Because one, the Braves were good, but also the fact that Andruw Jones was such a tremendous player that all of those people down there, they were Braves fans.
And all those nonchalant catches in the outfield.
Oh, yeah.
That would
it would right here.
It'd make you really nervous as a Braves fan.
So a reminder, you got to have 75% to make the National Baseball Hall of Fame. It's one of the most difficult halls of fame to get into in sports. Carlos Beltran, who was one of the best switch hitters I've ever seen. I mean,
when he was on the Mets, he was incredible.
Well, when he came up with the Royals, I mean, that's when he really came on the scene. And then, of course, what he did to the Mets. And then the back end of his career, he played for the Cardinals and helped them win the 2011 World Series. But he got 84% of the vote. Very solid. Andruw Jones got 78.4. So he was barely above the threshold. So then you ask yourself, okay, from this list, who else is potentially in the next few years, are they going to be able to get above 75%? And I'll give you a couple of names. I just want you guys your immediate reaction if you think he's a Hall of Famer. The next person on the list behind Andruw Jones at 59.1% of the vote was Chase Utley.
No.
Immediate reaction.
No.
Okay. Behind him at 48.5% was Andy Pettitte.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But again, not going to get in because of what him and Roger Clemens did together.
Behind Andy Pettit at 46.1% was Felix Hernandez.
That is... God, I feel bad, but no.
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 He pitched for the Braves for like one spring training game.
Oh, he was so good with the Mariners, though. They were so bad when he was there.
Coming in behind Felix Hernandez at 40% of the vote.
Yes.
A-Rod.
100% yes.
Landrum?
You don't have to like him.
I know.
Immediate
Yes.
reaction.
Yes.
Okay. Behind Alex Rodriguez at 38.8% is Manny Ramirez.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Behind Manny Ramirez at 30.8%, Bobby Abreu.
No.
No.
After Abreu, Jimmy Rollins,
No.
No.
Close. No.
Cole Hamels,
No.
Mm-mm.
Dustin Pedroia. Oh, you guys are pausing on that one.
No.
I'd probably lean yes.
Okay. Mark Burley,
No.
No.
Omar Vizquel,
No.
David Wright,
No. He did date Aaron Andrews, though.
Torrey Hunter.
No.
No.
Torrey Hunter had 8.7%. So you see as
Yeah.
as it's, but okay. So last night, the call goes out to Andruw Jones.
What about Rafael Belliard? Was he on there?
He did not make the list.
Well, and the sad thing is all the guys that we said yes to will never get in because they're all steroid guys.
Yep.
Even though they should all be in there.
Did want to pass along a tease. There was some college football portal news in case you missed it. Prince Umanamielen, talented guy, Ole
Very
Miss. He
nice.
has signed with LSU. So LSU continuing to clean up here late in the portal with some big spins. $550,000 going to Ole Miss in exchange.
And a little bit of news for Alabama because it's not official yet, but they are hosting an offensive lineman right now by the name of Javen James. He played 9 games. He was a starter for Mississippi State, their left tackle this past season. He was a redshirt sophomore, and he
Came
is
from
in
Akron, I
Tuscaloosa
think.
right now. Yes, and he is. The belief is that he will sign with Alabama, but nothing official yet. But he's in Tuscaloosa as we speak.
Big 12 schedule released today. Quickly, 2 games in Europe. You get the Aer Lingus College Football Classic. I think we already knew about that. TCU taking on North Carolina August 29th in Dublin. The Union Jack Classic, you're going to have Arizona State and Kansas September 19th at Wembley. And then among the top non-conference games, week 3, Kansas is going to host Missouri. Oklahoma will host Oregon, and Utah will host Arkansas.
Also, some news out of the Big 12 is that they are moving their Big 12 championship game to Friday night.
Mm-hmm.
It will no longer be the precursor to the SEC championship game.
I think that's a good move.
So they're going to be played on Friday night. I remember back in the day when we'd be in Atlanta all the time covering the SEC championship game. It was really cool because, we'd wrap up doing the show and then we would end up going out to eat and the Pac-12 championship game would be on.
Mm-hmm.
Because they would
On
play
Friday night,
They would
the
play on
standalone
Friday
game.
night. Yep, they would play on Friday.
They would
night.
draw 23,000.
Mm-hmm.
We'd laugh at it.
Yeah.
But Big 12 on a Friday night,
That's
Arlington,
good.
that's really good.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. All right, we will continue on. Your calls are next. Your texts as well. This is 3-Man Front on Jocks. 1234, phone lines are open, 1-800-239-WJOX. The Courtesy GMC text line, 205-834-9450. Joe Lenardi has sent out an update. Alabama currently, according to Joe Lenardi, would be a 5 seed. A little bit different looking at Joe Lenardi's projections as it was last year, because there was like 3 or 4 teams that was literally trying to bust that one line in regards to seeding. And this year, he's got Arizona number 1, Michigan 2, Duke 3, UConn 4. Then on the 2 line, you would have, man, this is just so weird, Nebraska. Nebraska is the 5th best team according to Joe Lenardi. Purdue's 6, Gonzaga 7, Houston 8. You can tell not a lot of SEC teams yet, have you?
Mm-mm.
The first SEC team is going to be Florida at 13, which would be a 4 seed, but they're the 13 overall ranked team, followed then by Vanderbilt right behind Florida, and then Alabama. So Alabama would be the 3rd highest NCAA seeded team, according to Joe Lenardi.
How about our friends at Crafts? They're excited to announce the opening of the new Crafts on 280. The new store's in the old Wendy's, if you remember the old Wendy's location. They're in Mountain Brook, next door to the Hampton Inn. If you haven't tried it, I certainly highly recommend it. It's a beautiful store. You got dine-in options as well as Crafts' first drive-through. The menu has something for everyone, including chicken tenders, wings, sandwiches, wraps, bowls, and salads. They also have a delicious burger. Crafts, highly popular. Frozen cocktails will be available soon. You got to check out the newest Crafts. It's right there, Highway 280, 2727 Highway 280. And check out their other locations as well on Church Street there in Crestline Village and on 7th Avenue South near UAB. We appreciate our friends at Crafts. Get by there today.
Auburn improved to 12-7 in men's basketball last night, 3-3 in SEC play with a 78-66 win against the Ole Miss Rebels. They got the Florida Gators coming up this weekend in Gainesville, and it's been since when? 1996?
96.
Last time Auburn has won in Gainesville.
It's been a minute.
Yeah.
I bet this guy was there, courtside. Hey, Don.
What's up, guys? And Pat, let me see if you remember the old Florida Gator Alley back in the day. You remember the Gator Alley?
I do remember that. Yep, sure do.
But guys, and this is, I'm joking, of course. I think we need to go to Lee County before they close. Lee County Court today before they close and go get Shandy Johnson eligible.
Well, let me ask you a question. I mean, why would you not do that?
Well, the door's open, and you're right. Why not?
I guess you'd have to ask Cheney first if he was if he was interested. But
well, and not saying that Stephen Pearl would want to disrupt his locker room, but yeah, I mean, I think any SEC team. I mean, the cat's out of the bag now. I mean, go for it.
No, absolutely, and I mean, me and Conrad were talking and everything, and I mean, sure, it's not right. They should not be doing this and everything, but. The Baylor kid opened the door, and actually the person that started this was Diego Pavia in football.
He was one of them, absolutely.
But, hey, Landrum, buddy, what's your latest weather update for us?
Right now the latest model looks like we're okay, but I'll be interested to see what the Euro models and some of the other ones say later on. But it looks like it's all shifted north.
Are you more of a NAM guy or a GFS?
Probably NAM.
NAM, okay. Or European?
I like European model.
Okay. Who doesn't like a European model?
Well, you know how they are in this town, guys. Yeah. They start warning you too early and everything, get everybody in a panic mode and everything. And like I told y'all before, I used to work at Publix and everything, and sure, all the bread and milk's already gone. And
I know with the amount of rainfall and potential ice accumulation that could be falling somewhere during the storm, I certainly hope it's not us. I love snow, and I love a good snow day as much as anybody, but an ice storm, and I can remember my parents talking about the one in 1982 where I was just a baby or I was a youngster, but you talk about damage, you can talk about fires, loss of life.
Yeah.
I don't want any part of the ice.
No, it actually, Landrum, that 82 year, it actually took a tree down in my dad's backyard over on Broadway and everything, and a tree ended up on his car.
Yeah. No, that's
so. Yeah, but
That's
But
not
what
that's
I'm
not the
hearing
kind of
now-
winter weather I want. But no, right now, looking at the
No.
latest models and stay weather aware because it's very early. But I think the 60-hour window was the one that a lot of meteorologists here locally. But they at least like the models that they saw overnight and this morning that continue to trend where this storm is maybe not going to impact the parts of Alabama that they thought it would.
Okay. Well, hey, and real quickly too, Pat. Me and you've been communicating all day about the stallion stuff and
Yes.
everything, and
Mhm.
be looking out for an announcement from the Stallions about what they're going to do on their fan rally Saturday. I believe they're going to reschedule that.
Yeah, and we're going to have some news here because of the weather situation this weekend. We were set up to do something in cooperation with the Stallions towards the end of the week.
They're at Crafts on Friday.
Yeah, but we kind of had to rearrange some stuff because of the travel for some of the Stallions to get back in town because of the weather situation. So we are going to do something in the next couple weeks. So we will have a firm announcement on that very soon.
Well, real quickly, guys, I want to, as a Stallions fan and as a horseman, I want to tell you, Molly, Conrad, all four of y'all. Y'all are the best in town about promoting our football team. So thank you guys for that.
Well, thank you, Don.
Thanks, Don.
You and the Horsemen, you guys do a great job over the years to help promote the Stallions and UFL football. So we appreciate you.
Hey, Section 104, baby.
There you go. Just don't let Damian take his shirt off anymore.
No, that's in the end zone, okay?
Okay.
They had the horseman section in the end zone. So,
All
hey,
right.
thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Y'all
Don.
Thanks,
be
Don.
safe.
Appreciate it. Yeah, I was looking forward to Friday. You and I were going to be out at Crafts on 280 with the Stallions, and we're going to push it back a little bit. We'll give you a firm date when that's going to happen. So a lot of exciting times for the Stallions of the UFL here in town.
Yep. A lot of your reactions continuing on the text line. Charles Bediako, a litany of texts that we will get to as we continue here on a very busy Wednesday. Busy in the news cycle and other things going on. Three Man Front.
It is 12:45. Welcome back into Three-Man Front on Jocks. Man, been a very busy news day. If you missed any of our interviews, Nick Kelly joined the show right out of the top, gave us the very latest on the Charles Bediako situation. We talked to Brian Edwards, gave us some picks, some lines for this weekend in regards to the NFL Conference Championship games and some basketball games. And we also talked to our good friend up in the Triangle in North Carolina, Joe Giglio, as he gave us the latest on the Darian Mensah situation at Duke. I was just reading this a few moments ago. I know many people across the land, especially the basketball intelligentsia, and I will tell you, and we experienced this last year, people could not handle the Southeastern Conference being better than the ACC and the Big Ten in basketball. They really couldn't. Because as we all know, that Northeast corridor, bunch of arrogant carpetbaggers that completely slam the SEC every opportunity they get. I mean, I'm just being honest. It's what they are. Well, I just read a quote from Pat Forty. He says, I'm pretty much over Nate Oates bringing up the I was a high school coach thing as a virtue signal that he cares about opportunities for high school recruits. He cares about winning with whoever the courts will let him put on the floor, end of quote. Pat Forty on the Charles Bediako situation.
Okay.
Is Nate Oates trying to win a 7A state championship this year, Pat?
I don't think so.
I didn't know if Alabama, the whole reclassification thing with Kyle Parma, I didn't know if Alabama had gotten thrown into 7A all of a sudden. I'm pretty sure he's trying to win an NCAA tournament, win an SEC title, go to another Final Four. And typically what happens there is you take the best players that are available to you. I go back to the NIL and transfer portal thing. If you are not taking advantage of these things, you're not doing your job. If Charles Bediako said, hey, coach, I want to come back and I think there's a way for me to do it, and he looked at that and said, no, we're good, he's not doing his job, because his job is to win basketball games. He doesn't care what's going on at other places.
Well, last time I checked, we're not worried about the college experience for the player anymore. We're worried about wins and losses and money. Whatever. Hey, you don't want to know how the sausage is made. Just make me some really, really good sausage. That's what Nate Oates is trying to do. Again, let's just go and compare. Who else is not desperately trying to do whatever they can without getting thrown in jail?
Was he slamming Drew?
To win games in anything.
I missed that one.
Pat Forty slamming Drew doing what he was doing at Baylor, because he's one of the chosen few.
Correct.
You know, like you never hear him talking about Bill Self.
No, Pat Forty picks and chooses.
Tom Izzo.
Who cheated like a freaking bandit all the time, never got in trouble whatsoever. But Pat Forty to say, I'm pretty much over Nate Oates bringing up the I was a high school coach thing as a virtue signal that he cares about opportunities for high school recruits. He cares about winning with whoever the courts will let him put on the floor. Coming from the man who did not want you to play college football in 2020. He was a COVID dude. He was like Nicole Auerbach and all these other people that wanted you to be locked in your house until 2030, do not come outside, stand 200 feet away from somebody in line. That's the type of people that did not want you to play football. Pat Forty was one of those dudes.
Was he also throwing shade at what happened with the legal situation? Much different.
Oh, at Alabama?
Mm-hmm. I think he just kind of left it vague so we could interpret it maybe that way.
Seems like you had a... Never mind. I'm not going to go down that route. We don't need to go down that route of what happened a few years ago, but that's absurd to me. Because by that logic then, so every coach out there that's taking transfers is taking away an opportunity from high school kids. So you just go... Put high school kids on your team. They deserve an opportunity. Well, are they good? Can they contribute now? Can you win with them?
And
That's what matters.
What's also funny about Pat Forty is Pat Forty lives in Louisville, Kentucky, and covered the Louisville Cardinals basketball team forever. Do we really need to go down the road of everything that has happened with Louisville basketball? It started with Denny Crum. He was as crooked as a dog's hind leg.
Surely they didn't want Rick Pitino anymore. That's why he's not there, right?
Yeah, let's go to the Italian restaurant in Louisville, where you got, seating there in the back in a dark corner.
That booth will never be the same.
No. It shouldn't be. It should be
Taped off.
absolutely.
Crime scene.
Don't blue light it.
Black light.
Blue light, black light,
You could probably blue light.
all the above. It's just funny.
It is.
And again, we talked about at the beginning of the show. It is just funny that when it happens to Alabama, and I'm not saying that it's only an Alabama thing, right? If there's other programs, like if Florida was doing this or something, I'm sure that it would get brought up as well. But it's just funny that when it happens with Alabama and the SEC, that's when everybody's panties getting a wad. But it was fine 2 months ago when Baylor was doing this. But now, no, heaven forbid Alabama takes advantage of the same system.
And somebody reminds us, and I'm glad they did. One of our listeners on the text line says, refreshing to hear Pat Forty attacking someone in the state other than Bruce Pearl.
That's true. That's true.
That's a good point.
Didn't even go down that road, but yeah, he did not. He was not a Bruce Pearl fan at all.
Oh, he wasn't a fan of football during the pandemic.
Oh gosh, no.
No, he's one of those guys.
He was one of those guys
that hates sports.
that I took a shot at while we're watching Central Arkansas play Austin Peay because we get meaningful football, the first meaningful football. It's a big comeback. It's a win for college athletics. And they're sitting there and they are crapping on it the entire time about the level of play and how we should never play football again.
This is terrible. This is awful.
I keep
Him
receipts
and
too.
Darren Ravel and Dan Wolken and all those guys that have a job and they're so miserable every day because they have to wake up and do a fun job and they hate their lives so much. I can't stand it.
It's so
Can't
interesting
stand 'em.
because we read the statement from the NCAA basically saying,
And yes, I did defend Bruce Pearl when he did what he did or said what he said.
we're standing up for the high school athlete. We don't want to take away scholarships. Did they announce that when Baylor brought in the NBA kid? I don't remember the NCAA releasing a statement because it's the NCAA policy and rules that are allowing this. This isn't like Charles Bediako in Alabama all of a sudden said, okay, well, we're going to test the system. We're going to let Bediako suit up against Tennessee. Okay, we'll see you in court. No, you set precedents. The precedents was that you let an NBA player, a former NBA player, go play in Waco, Texas.
You think James Roberts? He probably had his own opinion, just as if he's a sports fan. But what does the judge have to do in this case? He has to go on what's presented, right? And he has to go on precedent. He ruled in favor of it.
And it is a temporary restraining order.
It is.
Which means that on Tuesday there will be another hearing. And we will see if he is granted a status in which he can play the rest of the season, because I'm sure the NCAA will attempt to thwart it.
Well, after all of this, I want at least one game. Give me 12 minutes.
I'm beginning to think he will not play at all on Saturday. I think he will suit up.
Because of the stink?
I think Alabama is wanting to do their due diligence. I think Bama wants to be careful. I see Greg Byrne as someone that is extremely calculated, and I don't see him just willy-nilly unless the people at Alabama, the legal team, and they got a big one, they feel really good. And if you want to play him, go for it. But if not, I would think that they would err on the side of caution and let things kind of play out a little bit.
Well, you just don't want to jeopardize anything with this particular team.
No.
And that could be Charles Bediako coming back into the rotation, showing up for practice. It's like, why is he back, coach?
And I don't think they're doing this to be a martyr, right? To do
no.
Well, we're going to take the bullet for this one just to show you how bad it is, and everyone's going to come at us, and then maybe that'll be they're not doing it for that reason. They're doing it because they think it'll help them win basketball games.
So the UConn athletics director, he has now chimed in. Once again, another northerner chiming in. He tells ESPN, David Benedict, he's the UConn AD, he's imploring the NCAA and President Charlie Baker to take a stand in eligibility cases where there's NCAA rules being circumvented by a judge's ruling. Direct quote, if legally we can't control or impose NCAA rules in terms of who can play and who can't, based on a legal action, the NCAA still has the right to determine what games count towards the NCAA tournament and what games didn't count. So it goes back to what you said last hour, Landrum, the whole conversation about the NCAA tournament, because now the AD at UConn, who is a puppet for their basketball coach, Dan Hurley, he's going to say whatever Dan Hurley's thinking. And so now they're trying to get the point across that if Alabama is going to use Charles Bediako, then you know what? The NCAA committee, the tournament committee, they need to consider that because they're basically using an illegal player. It's exactly what is happening now.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they're going to bring it all up. I'm like you. I don't think Alabama has to have – Alabama does not need Charles Bediako to make an NCAA tournament. I don't think that Charles Bediako helps Alabama win a national title.
No.
So then you're weighing all of this out if you're Nate Oates. Is the firestorm, is it worth it?
More from the AD.
Is it worth the squeeze?
The NCAA has deemed Bediako ineligible. Fine. He can play on a judge's ruling. It doesn't mean the games need to count towards the NCAA tournament.
Well, I'm just glad that Dan Hurley can yell at somebody besides an official for once.
Man, this is getting good.
Meanwhile, Rick Barnes, 2 game plans, having to get ready for Alabama with Charles Bediako. Alabama without Charles Bediako.